Okay, SPY bucking up against resistance. We had FOMC day today, so they said they're going to be basically stopping the QE. Not really worried about that, um, because again, probably everybody on this um, watching this is probably not big enough to really worry about that regarding your trading style. But what we need to see is what's going to happen next week after the mutual funds have their year end. Somebody asked me, what does that mean? That means that their year end finishes on Friday, October 31st. So they're not going to want to liquidate any positions or try to change anything that might hurt their year end numbers. We got to see once that discontinues next week, what's going to happen on November 5th and 6th. That's what I'm kind of looking at is what's going to happen next week. And we have to see what's going to happen and go from there. But again, it's just something to be aware of. QE, yes, that tapering, because again, we're trading the bull, but we understand that the bull is being pretty much QE related, and we make the money either way. But don't for one moment think that the Federal Reserve, these people will not call their boys that are the mutual fund guys and the big players to say, listen, they've gotten that news way before we got the news that hit the line. So we have to be cautious. And like I'm saying, we looking at this V bottom coming up. You have the 1 bar, right now I wouldn't be looking to go long. I mean, again, you could have gone long, maybe, break above this high, but it came, and today it was craziness. It was, it was typical Fed Day stuff. So you look on the 30 and you can see that it was just, after the announcement at like, 2, it just became like a whip fest, just trying to see if they could reach for stops and then, drive it up. But we don't know where this is going to go tomorrow. But again, I'm trying to look at the big picture to say we still have these these low highs in place, and we have to see that we're coming across prior swing point or pull down. So again, it's over it, and it might get to new highs, but we have to see what's going to happen after this week, because that's something to be very, very aware of. Because when the tide rolls in, you're going to see who doesn't have their pants on. So you really want to be cautious. Uh, excuse me. QQQ. It is basically, some people will play this, after this huge run up, they might look, oh, an inside bar right here, the tail end. I'm not sure if I would, instantly be looking to get a high, especially, again, I'm not a breakout trader. So, that's something that, you have to be very cautious of when you get to this level, to say, okay, they know that there's a bunch of orders above there. They'll flash it up, give a shooting star, take that out, drive it down, get a bunch of stops, and then drive it back up. So we have to be very, very cautious regarding that as well. IWM is continuing to grind higher. Again, this little flag right here, um, you know, I thought it was going to roll, honestly, but it didn't. And again, I'm still looking to say, like, all this price action is, let's see what happens next week. Let's see what happens next week. But if you're in the trades and you're making money, shit, the hell with it, right? But again, you want to tighten your stops. You want to lighten the, if you have like 2 to 3 to 1, 4 to 1 already locked in, lighten your position a little bit, because they're not going to do it in the day where you can get your stops hit out. They're going to do it overnight, so that if you're in a position, they're just going to cremate you. Okay, that's just their style. They're just dirty bastards, and that's just the way they do it. IWM still has these lower highs in place as well, so you want to be cautious regarding that. Apple continues to go higher. We got Tesla. Tesla's pretty much sideways, hasn't gotten above this previous pivot as well, so it's pretty much just grinding, and it's hard to really find like a trend going on right here. We were looking at these these high lows, and once it broke, it's continuing to give lower highs as well to the downside. So once this broke down, we're like, okay, we have to be very, very cautious. Okay, Netflix, I mean, the volume's really, really light. Again, I'm not a by the blood type of guy, so This gap doesn't have to be filled any way, shape, or form in the next couple of days, because again, if you said that with this gap, you would have to wait pretty much what, almost 3 months. If you said that with this gap, you're still waiting. So, just keep that stuff in mind. That the gap, it could be a gap and go depending on where it is within the trend. It's not just to say, okay, we got a gap, we're going to go short, or whatever, vice versa of what the gap is, because it has to fill it. It doesn't have to fill it any way, shape, or form in any relatively close time frame. This level, we really want to see what's going on, because again, the volume is light, and when the volume is light, I don't care that, and I'll show you which candle I'm talking about. This candle, I don't care that the volume is light on that one. The volume is light on this selling one. I really want to see if this is going to roll down, okay? Because this didn't have any follow through. I mean, if you're aggressive, maybe you bought that one break of a high. I wouldn't, especially with the price action going on right now, I'll be very, very cautious regarding that, because it gave the, we were looking at this low, right? Damn, this thing is, okay. We saw this high, then we saw a lower high, and now we're still seeing that the trend pretty much looks like this. For the time being, we still have this going on. So I'll be very, very cautious going along this name right here, right now. I mean, again, it could set up for a short tomorrow, so we'll see how this one plays out. I wonder how the banks did today. Goldman still giving still has a lower high. We'll see if this low breaks. What is going on with the weekly? The weekly still looks good. Still looks good. I cannot deny still looks good for this name. But again, volume is lightening up, and we want to see how this closes. Okay, so again, caution, because it's been tricky. I mean, it's been very, very tricky. And I won't deny it. Everybody wants to say, oh, I knew this, I knew that. Fuck that. Like, don't follow those guys. Those guys will make you more annoyed at your trading. And what's the point? Like, what's the point of you saying, like, I knew something happened before it happened? Maybe you knew like a turn date, but you didn't know exactly where it was going to go. And most people don't really mess with dates and stuff like that either. I mess around with it a little bit just because I'm kind of half crazy myself. But, this V bottom that's set up, I don't like stuff like this. It's just a very hard thing to trade. I like, again, like I said yesterday, I like stuff like this. I could get a limited risk, but what am I going to do here? When I break a high, just go? No, that's not a pullback. It's one freaking bar. So it is what it is. But again, if you want to really look at what was going on, this is 10%, and it looks like they wouldn't let it fall 10%. As crazy as it sounds, 10% is probably where there's probably some orders that will come in automatically if it breaks 10%. So they held it, and I mean the Fed or whoever, held it above that 10% mark, because once you hit that, then automatic things are going to start to roll over. And they definitely don't want that to happen before year end. Just think about it. Take care.